Hi everyone. Today, Zahar, Yuxin, Thomonique, and I present our uni project for meaningful learning. The audience for this learning activity is college-level students who have the interest to learn about stock market trading. The two domains involved in this activity are stock trading and social media analysis. In the current era of information overload, it is very likely that college students obtain their information sources from social media, where the truthfulness of the information is not guaranteed. In addition, the media information can influence the stock market sentiment to a large extent that ultimately results in huge upswings and downswings of the stock prices. Therefore, it is important for students to understand both the foundational stock trading concepts and be able to understand the impact of social media on the market sentiment in order to make rational financial decisions as they invest in the stock market. On the other hand, because investment is a lifelong learning process, teachers can also identify key gaps in their own understanding by creating such learning experiences. Our generative topic asks students, how do you determine whether a stock investment may be worth it, given all the information available, including the influence of social media? The specific learning problem presents students with a simulated case study in which students will need to utilize their knowledge of the stock market analysis and their understanding of social media sentiments to make rational investment decisions. In this process, students will learn how to conduct different types of stock analysis as well as how social media content can influence the market. For students to understand the topic, there are multiple entry points. First of all, students will interact with various modes of information sources such as financial graphs, charts, and reports as they analyze a company's current financial situation. Secondly, students will come across authentic information from real social media platforms as part of their analysis as they would in real-life stock trading situations. Lastly, students will engage in hands-on practice of actual stock trading analysis in a simulated case study to integrate their knowledge into coherence. For beginners who have just started to familiarize themselves with the fundamentals of stock trading, a worthwhile question they might ask themselves is, why am I choosing to invest in this particular stock instead of any other stock? Is it because everyone on the internet is saying positive things about the stock, or is it because I see any intrinsic values in this stock? For more experienced students, a worthwhile question would be, if I believe in the XYZ factors that will make the stock successful, when would be the right time to buy in, and what are the signs for exit? These different levels of inquiries demonstrate their different levels of understanding of the stock market and their justified rationales for trading.
We have two key understanding goals. The first one is to provide students with a basic introduction to stocks and help them develop analytical skills for making investment decisions based on publicly available information, while developing reasoning and critical thinking skills through writing reports and extensive in-class discussions. The second goal aims to make students aware of the impact of social media on market sentiment and critically evaluate how conflicting messages may inform their investment decisions. These two understanding goals are interrelated to one another since students need to have the ability to process information on social media and also make evidence-based decisions. Therefore, it is important for them to first locate the information source and then evaluate them consistently as a part of their decision-making process. As a result, students are then able to maintain sustainable practices to anticipate risks and think holistically when investing. The main focus behind this is that students need to be both flexible and independent in their decision-making process. They are able to think holistically about the authenticity of information on social media, not only in terms of making investments, but also learning how to gather information, discussing and sharing their thoughts with others. All these skills and the brain functioning will help them make a rational decision in their life.
Our first activity is a guided inquiry performance that would have students review a specific comment from a social media site, including Twitter or Reddit, about the performance of a specific stock. Students should determine what, if any, type of analysis is being utilized by the user of the comment and also cross-reference it with official data or financial sources to determine if the user is truthful, misleading, or completely false in their statement. Our second activity and culminating performance is a case study that involves students simulating an investment scenario where they analyze real financial graphs, company information, news reports, and comments and posts about an anonymous stock at the time that it was receiving sudden hype in the media. Students will need to make an investment decision and be able to support their decision by exhibiting an understanding of stock analysis as well as the effects of social media on their and others' thinking that contributes to stock market performance. The guided inquiry activity addresses students' ability to decipher and make sense of how social media can act as both a space for valid financial discussion and one with misleading or downright incorrect information. This activity encourages students to always validate claims online by conducting their own research using the analysis skills they are learning in the course. Students can come to a decision on whether or not they agree with the statement and be able to explain why. As for the culminating performance activity, using all of the redacted information made available to them, we will require students to conduct an analysis of the stock in question using at least one of the 3 stock analysis approaches. The purpose of this activity is to allow students to exhibit how they would approach their decision or recommendation to invest in a stock or not, based on real data as well as speculation. Students must be able to sift through potential misinformation and rely on their own understanding of financial concepts as well as the psychology of the stock market to make a decision. The guided performance activity is especially important because as major creators and consumers of social media content, students receive much of their information about many things beyond investing from these same platforms. What is most challenging about this activity is being able to take into consideration any motives or biases the user may have had when sharing their information. Learners will be guided on how to consciously consume this information by using various validation techniques, which they should draw on to complete the activity. The culminating performance is particularly challenging as well because there is no right or wrong answer. Students will have the ultimate outcome of the stock performance revealed to them in the end and may make judgments based on how well or poorly they did. It is important for the instructor to guide and emphasize to students that the process by which they make connections and come to their decision is the most important task.
There are 2 basic types of stock analysis: fundamental analysis and technical analysis. Students should be able to use data from sources, including financial records, economic reports, company assets, and market share, to conduct fundamental analysis on a public company or sector. Students should also be able to conduct technical analysis by examining the financial market as a whole and identify demand and supply factors that move the market. One explicit criteria that helps learners guard their understanding of the most challenging concept in this learning experience is their ability to integrate all the information into a coherent and insightful analysis of the company's current situation. Students who are not experienced in this process might only produce a superficial analysis of the numbers and the charts. But students who have understood the concepts should be able to connect the company's current financial performances to the larger market force. The ability to integrate all the information available can provide great support for students to understand one's decision-making process when they invest in stocks. However, due to the high variance of stock market, even the most comprehensive analysis does not guarantee profits, given the likelihood of black swan events happening that can influence the entire market movement. Therefore, it is important to understand the risks associated with the stock trading activities and be aware of one's limits to risks.
After receiving all submissions and analyses for the culminating performance, students will be grouped and paired with other classmates who made different decisions about the same simulated scenario. Students will explain their analysis and reasoning for coming to their decision, as well as listen to the different approaches of others. After thorough time for discussion, students will be asked collectively what surprised them about each other's reasoning, if they would alter their decision now that they've seen each other's analyses and reasoning. If so, they will be asked to ponder and explain why. Students will also be asked to reflect on what, if anything, they would have done differently, included or excluded from consideration when making their decision. In the end, students should state the most important thing they've learned from the experience. The goal is that students will come to know that investing looks different for everyone, but should be made with the investor's own lifestyle, personality, and knowledge in mind.
Multiple tools and technologies can be incorporated into this learning experience. For example, students can use charting tools to keep track of their trading activities as well as to visualize stock data, including price and volume. Students can also use social media platforms to collect actual media data to gain insights into the real-world factors that can influence the stock price behaviors. Lastly, students can use Microsoft Office tools, including Excel, to organize their data and perform analysis, and Word to document, reflect on, and share their analysis with peers.